So we've already violated your principle of don't have any good conversation before you start recording.
We violated lots of principles today. You invited yourself on the show, and here we are recording.
Yep, and you flagged me with a bug assault rifle.
In your defense, you're a repeat guest, so I guess you get special privileges. But no, so yeah, and you're kind of family.
Kind of family.
So
I weaseled my way into it. I think that was the quote.
Dave, I'm actually down here in, where are we at now? Are we in Bend?
We're outside of Bend, Central Oregon, and I'll do the disclaimer real quick, and maybe it can make sense why here in a second. I'll be firefighter Dave. I think that's how we kind of left off before, and right now we're getting closer to whistleblowing and blowing the top off of some stuff, but right now we're undergoing with all this mandate stuff that I don't want to shit where I eat 100%. So for right now, I'm all for the cause of mandating, mandate-free Oregon, mandate-free everywhere. But right now, I'm trying to get people on that page, trying to spread the word, and I don't want the politics of my own personal department to bleed into it. There's a lot of name calling. There's a lot of people doing the wrong things, and there's still some time for some folks to save it and keep some people to have their jobs in the middle of this fight. I'm not saying the fight's going away, but we're going to leave it at that. And after that point, if people are still doing the wrong things and still screwing people over, firing first responders, firing healthcare workers, going down that road, then all of those folks are going to be on notice.
Yeah.
And their names, their likelihood, no one's going to be able to hide. The silent majority will not be silent any longer. We're talking union leaders. We're talking fire chiefs. And this is just in my wheelhouse. We're talking mayors, commissioners, city council members, like anybody who is against freedom and what all first responders and healthcare providers are trying to do to serve the public. Anyone that gets in that way over this infringement on our freedom, then it's going to blow up. So now,
this infringement is 100% political, and it's 100% agenda driven.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. And so, I mean, just to kind of take a step back and unpack it a little bit.
For sure. I just want to start that off. I totally believe in standing up, right? Like, dude, what you did, there's guys in my circle that totally commend it. I'll jump into a firehouse and I'll see a video of you up there. I'm like, look at that fag. Who's that guy? And it was like, what are you talking about? He's awesome. And I'm like, well, I'm just joking. Like,
you can't say faggot on my podcast.
Oh, all right. Well, strike one. So
I'm actually kidding. You can say whatever the fuck you want on this podcast.
I know. So, but my point of bringing that up is just that I'm not trying to, I don't know. I'm not trying to, I lost my train of thought. Once you said faggot,
it turned you on.
Yeah. But anyways, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, you did a podcast with me, 6 or 8 months ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And even back then you were discussing, our country's been in a constant state of turmoil for going on 20 months now. And so even then, you were firefighter Dave. You don't want to represent a specific agency. You don't want all your information out there. And here's the reality of it, because it's easy to go nuclear, right?
Yeah.
And I chose the nuclear option.
Yeah.
And
sometimes that's the requirement.
Sometimes that's a requirement.
Yeah.
And what did that do though? It got me fired.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because I felt like my message, what I wanted to put out, what I wanted to accomplish with that message, it was necessary, right?
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is playing the long game and being tactical. Like anyone that's like, oh, this Dave guy won't even give his last name. That's because he's a fucking pussy. Well, you and I served in Afghanistan together. You were in the regiment with me. I know you're not a pussy. But what I do know
Thanks, Greg. I think you just called me a pussy about 15 minutes ago in front of my children also. But that's okay. It's all right. But
you're playing the long game and you're being tactical. And it's like, it brings me back to right before we pushed play, I was starting to tell you a story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell it because it's applicable to this, right? And this was 48 hours ago. Me and my wife are driving up I-5, and there's a bunch of road work, and it was just gridlock traffic.
Yeah.
And the whole
typical
fucking
Seattle
the whole
bullshit.
freeway was shut down because northbound and southbound lanes are sharing one bridge. And so it's like funneling them all into one lane and then you share one bridge, right?
Yeah.
I am 500 meters away from my exit, right? And my wife is driving. And people are listening, oh, he lets his fucking wife drive. Well, you know what? When I'm driving my car, I drive. When she's driving her car, she drives. And that's just kind of how we roll as a family. And so she was driving. And I said, dude, the exit's 500 meters away. You can get on the shoulder and just get out of this fucking nonsense, right?
Wait a minute. Common sense application of driving? Perfect.
Yeah. Why not? Especially like, listen, you can't drive on the shoulder. Well, when there's 10,000 cars that are in gridlock and I'm taking an out, I can get on the shoulder, write me a ticket, you know?
Yeah.
Then this guy, and then this other car did it too, right? And so it was, this other car was right in front of us and then we were behind it. And then this dude pulls out in front of the car in front of us and just stops.
Oh boy.
Shoulder police.
Oh boy.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't want us to get to our exit.
Yeah. How dare you?
How dare I, right? You can't drive on the shoulder. What are you doing? You can't watch this. Watch this. I'm going to stop this guy from driving on the shoulder. And this is my pet peeve with this kind of shit, because I'm not saying I'm some dangerous psychotic motherfucker, but you don't know who's in the car behind you, right?
No idea.
Would you ever be confrontational with someone? I'll be confrontational as fuck, and I'll even risk my own safety if there's a reason to do so, right?
Yeah.
But just to randomly piss some dude off on the fucking road that you know nothing about, and here's another thing. You don't know where that guy's going. You don't know where he's coming from. What if he has a fucking kid in the car that fell on the playground, has a broken arm?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this commando on the righteousness of who's allowed to be on the shoulder or not, he's taking it into his hands to decide what you need to do.
What I need to do, right?
Yeah.
And so we finally get to the exit. And I said, pull up next to that motherfucker. And Jenny's like, calm down, stop it. I said, no, I'm not going to fucking calm down. Pull up next to that car right fucking now. I'm getting out. And she fucking sped by him and drove off. And she goes, you're scaring everyone in this car. You're scaring your kids. And I said, okay, I need to take a breath right now. I said, right now you're acting like I'm the crazy one, right? But this is bigger than that. That little incident is just a snapshot of our entire society where people treat each other in a manner that is disrespectful, that is passive aggressive, and nobody does anything
there's no
about
accountability
it. There's no
for
accountability and there's no consequence.
Yeah.
I said, that dude just fucking purposely fucked up the last 3.5 minutes of my day. Is that the end of the world? No, it's not. But he does deserve to get slapped across the fucking face.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to slap that motherfucker across the face. And then if he fucking wants to go hard and he wants to pull a gun on me, I'm going to put a whole fucking magazine in him. Right. And Jenny just punched the gas. She's like, nope. And then she had that talk with me. She's like, you are so easily triggered right now. Mm-hmm. You're so out of control. You're so ready for violence that any little thing you're ready to fucking kill somebody over. And I'm like, I had to think about that and be honest with myself. Like, is that guy worth, as a 40-year-old man with 3 small children in the car, getting out and fucking that dude up? Is it worth it?
Right.
I don't know what the answer is.
Especially when it's probably a 65-year-old woman with pink hair.
No, it was some... we drove by him.
Okay.
It was a 50-year-old dude with a double chin, and he needs to have the fuck beat out of him. Right?
He was probably mouth breathing. My kids know what mouth breathers are too.
Mouth breathing has been scientifically proven to be bad for you. You should do mouth taping at night. Have you guys heard of that?
I've heard you talk about it with all your nose stuff.
But the real answer to this is still unclear to me, because it's like, on one hand, I do want to play the long game. I do want to be in the fight when it matters. I need to be available for my children when this fucking tyrannical government comes for them. I need to be ready. I can't be in a fucking cage, or worse, be fucking killed because of some prick on I-5. But then the equal and opposite side of that is, we are letting people get away with whatever the fuck they want. And people have been emboldened because of these things right here. and they're used to just talking shit to each other on their phones all day, every day.
Yeah.
And there's no consequences. And I was like, I need to fucking slap this dude in the face.
Right.
And when shit goes sideways,
that's how it's going to roll.
For anyone listening right now, today is, what is today's date? It's the 9th of September. Today is the date that our fucking communist president went and pushed all of these new mandates to private businesses, telling private businesses, you now have to vaccinate your people, and telling all of these people that are not part of your government what they have to do and how they have to live their life.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I'm not fucking Nostradamus. This shit's going to go sideways soon if we don't rein this in quickly.
Well, that's exactly right, because the direct result of the person who's in charge, right, on paper, who's in charge of everyone, they feel like they're in the position where they can just say whatever they want, impose whatever they want. It's not going to be checked, because what you're saying is this guy that's being the shoulder police, right? Like, that's happening to an exponential scale where nobody's getting checked, where nobody's getting challenged, where the conversation is not even happening. Because, you know, I like to give like the gun control argument, and without going down that road, because
we can go down that road, because anyone that wants gun control can fuck themselves.
Right. No, agreed. But I don't. Just the point that I was trying to get to with that is, right now, if you try to have a conversation about gun control, like rewind 60 years, 70 years, or maybe Wild West or whatever days, to where if you try to have that same conversation to them about a tool that they're using every day to solve conflict, about how people get checked if you look at someone wrong, if you say something disrespectful, it's a gunfight. Like, this is, or if a neighbor has something that you want, they're just going to come and take it, right? So you can't have a conversation back then to try to say we got to get rid of guns, because it was a society where everybody put each other in check, and that was a tool in that equation. But when you slowly get rid of that, people forget. And now here we are today having the argument of, what do we need to protect ourselves and our family? Who should have the authority to do that? And some of us that have carried a weapon forever, or, you know, relied on it in, whether it was combat zones, whether it was personal protection, or law enforcement, whatever, like that, have an intimate knowledge and history of using that tool, like, the conversation is clear for us. But it has been so far bred out of society. So this shoulder commando, it's been bred out of him that, like, well, I can just talk to everyone who I want. I could say whatever I want on a keyboard. I could punch whatever I want on the phone, and no one is going to challenge me. Well, we have generations and generations of that, and it's continuing to get worse because of the phone. And now you've got a president, like, that's what I think with the mandates, dude. It's like, oh, you know what? We're going to tell them wear masks for 2 weeks, flatten the curve. All you good citizens, just 2 weeks, wear these masks and flatten the curve. And we're like, all right, we'll do 2 weeks, you know, like, whatever, it's a mask. And then close your business. Now do that. And then people are bending knees, and they're bending knees. And there's just this precedent of, you know what, we're the government. No one's going to stand up. No one's going to push back. No one's going to speak out on the beliefs of what they believe in, or of things that hold true to them. And they're not going to alter their own lives to go after freedom. So we can say whatever the fuck we want.
And do whatever the fuck
and do whatever we want. And the first people we're going to go after, we were talking about this early, are the law-abiding citizens. I'm going to put the mandate for all healthcare workers, for all first responders, all police officers, all firefighters, all the state workers, all the people that have something to lose, that are paying their taxes, that are showing up to work on time, that are not burning down buildings, that are not freaking doing riots in the streets, right? Like, all those people that are paying and doing what they should, they're the ones that they're going to go after, right? It's the same reason.
Because they have, well, first of all, they have the most to lose, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you're a fucking worthless drug addict piece of shit on the streets of Portland or Seattle, the people that we are intimately familiar with, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to lose. It's like trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip. Like, they're not going to go after those people.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, you're super rich your fucking tech gurus and your billionaires and your CEOs that are worth millions of dollars. Like, you can't intimidate them with, hey, shut your business down, right? It's like, yeah, okay, well, I own Amazon. I can do whatever the fuck I want, right?
Yeah, they own you at this point.
Yeah, it's the people that the people that earn 60 to 180,000 a year that are usually locked in with a mortgage and they're locked in with a car payment. Yeah. They got a couple kids, and it's like they are making their life work while they're on the grind. But if they step away from the grind, the wheels fall off pretty quick. Right. Those are the people that are being held hostage right now. Yep. Those are also the people that make the fucking world go around. Yep. They're the people that make the economy work. They're your first responders. They're fucking your waitresses. They're at the grocery store. They're framing houses.
They're the heroes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're the ones that are keeping us alive.
And you can cinch that down too.
Oh, got it.
But those are the people that our society relies on. But because they're the most reasonable members of society, if they go after them first, they know, like, well, these people have the most to lose. Yeah. But they're also the most obedient, you know? Yeah. So let's force all these people to do these things. And bro, we've been saying it for months now. It's going to start with this. It's going to start with a mask mandate, and then it's going to start, and then the vaccine follows, and then it's this group of people, then it's that group of people. And then today, our fucking communist president said now they're moving into the private sector. And I talked to Andy Frisella a couple hours ago, dude, and it's like, he has hundreds and hundreds of people that work for First Form. You think he's going to fucking mandate the vaccine? Go fuck yourself. Right. Same thing with Black Rifle, right? You think, like, fuck you. Yeah. And these companies are going to stand up against it. What are they going to do? Are you going to try and shut everybody down? Because this is where, and I know everybody thinks like, no one's ever going to do anything. I see that a lot on the internet. No one's going to do anything. Shut up. Sit down. You're not going to cause a revolution. Well, that's no one's going to overthrow the government. You guys are all talk. Well, I'll tell you this. Once our children's future and our children's ability to have fucking safety and security is at risk, stand the fuck by. Stand the fuck by. Our fucking society is 9 meals away from going savage. Yeah. When your children, think about it. You have 2 children. You just tucked them in and hugged them and put them to bed. Think if they hadn't eaten a bite of food in 3 days. Yeah. Well, now the rules start to change. Well, and it's like, hey, I'm a nice person. I'm a law-abiding citizen, but my kids haven't eaten in 3 days, and my neighbor has 200 pounds of rice in the garage. Yeah. Well, that's what's happening right now. He said that and he made that announcement, and I said, great. Just like when, we're sitting here in Oregon, we're watching our neighbors, you guys to the north, and we're like, oh shit, Inslee just put out this vaccine mandate. Like, what do you think? Like, oh man, it sucks to be them. I'm like, just wait for it, dude. So then they were start talking about us. And then when Kate Brown made the announcement, like all healthcare workers, and I said, and everyone else couldn't believe it. And I said, yes, good. Because it needs to be more than just the firefighters and the police. It needs to be the nurses and the doctors and the teachers and the state workers, because there's so many of us, because we are holding this society up. Read friggin' Atlas Shrugged, people. Like it's about all the contributors to society, like those that are actually doing a damn. They've had enough and they're out. And everyone else is trying to pick up the pieces. They're trying to say, oh, who can I tax now? And who can I put laws on now? And it falls apart. It's a beautiful book. It's a long one, but you read it, this shit was written in the 50s, and you'll be like, holy cow, this is happening today. So I'm happy on one hand that they are going to such extreme, because the silent majority, those that have had a lot to lose, that have been quiet during the riots, they've been quiet when, 1 and 2 and they lose a job, one person here, 2 people there, they're like, oh, okay, that sucks. I got to keep paying my bills. So I'm not going to make a stink. But now the writing's on the wall. Everyone has this hard line where they're like, well, I got to keep paying the bills, and so I can't lose my job. But if they come after my kids, if they come to give them the vaccine, then there's my line. And now they see, they're like, oh shit, it's coming that way. And so now everyone's standing up on that premise, like, hey, we're not going to be silent anymore. And
people are trying to make us feel like, if you turn on the news, it makes us in our groups feel like we're a minority on this, and we're not.
No, that's a lie.
We are not. We are so strong, and we're getting stronger by the day. And it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So back to, you probably want to say something, but I just want to go back to that original premise of like, do you, in the fight, do you become the martyr right out the gate? Or because it is based on principle? Or do you...
This is my plan.
Kind of blend in?
This is my plan.
Let's hear it.
Because once they mandate the private sector, which are I can't even fucking believe they already did. I mean, I knew it was coming, but in the way he delivered it too, it was passive aggressive, and it was like,
yeah,
but also at the same time senile, stumbling on his words, just complete fuckface, right? And you know what's next? First it's the private sector, and then it's going to be our kids next. And this motherfucker even said today, well, our next goal is to get the vaccine approved for 12 and under, and then that's going to be our next focus. If you think you're getting a fucking vaccine anywhere near my 6-year-old, I will fucking murder everybody.
Yeah, because
and like maybe we're gonna pull his podcast. He's promoting violence. No. I'm not promoting anything.
Oh.
I want to teach jujitsu, and I want to work out. And I want to fucking enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Because for the first time in a long time, I'm completely free. I'm not a slave to the army. I'm not a slave to law enforcement. I'm running my gym. I can say and do whatever the fuck I want, and I want to be left alone. But you're going to fucking keep taking people's freedoms away until you back them into a corner.
Yeah.
And when you back me into a corner, when I have 3 little babies, stand the fuck by.
Well,
but this is, so to unpack what I think is the right answer, right? Once this goes off, it's going to go off like a powder keg. And the second that the system is overwhelmed, like people don't understand the capabilities of the government. The government's capabilities are weak.
Yeah.
They don't have the manpower or the resources. And if you fucking doubt me,
go to
YouTube and type in a fucking BLM riot from 1 year ago. It's not just, we're just going to let them do whatever we want. No, we didn't have, when fucking 10,000 people say we're doing something, I guess that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And no one's going to fucking stop them. And so as soon as this fucking powder keg gets lit, a couple different things are going to happen. First of all, first responders, you think they're going to go fight bullshit in the street, or you think they're going to go take care of their babies? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as soon as they don't have the capacity to respond to this surge in violence that's going to take this fucking country by storm.
Right.
Now, the right thing to do, in my opinion, is I am going to take all the people that are important to me, and I'm going to go out to a undisclosed location. I've talked about it on my show a lot. People know I've bought a bunch of property, but I'm not giving specifics. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hold a defensive posture.
It's in the Space Needle.
a defensive posture. And it could go back to old school fucking Ranger Patrol Base operations. And you're going to have a defensive perimeter. You're going to have re-entering the wire procedures. You're going to have fucking people on fucking duty 24/7, manning your fucking interlocking sectors of fire, all this old school infantry 101 bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hold that perimeter while the world eats itself. Yeah. Right. I have nothing to gain by going downtown Seattle and watching a bunch of animals eat each other and kill each other. Right. Would it be fun? Of course it'd be fun. Yeah. I would love to go down there and fucking stack bodies. But the truth is, I got people that are relying on me. I don't need to partake in the fucking chaos. Right. The only thing I want to partake in is taking this country back and putting the trajectory of America back on the right path.
You want to be left the fuck alone.
Leave me the fuck alone, right?
Yeah.
So I think what the right thing to do is hold the defensive perimeter, let the chaos ensue, let the fucking vermin eat themselves. Then you go on the offense and you take this fucking country back.
So it's funny, man. So I was a firefighter in Florida. So I was on the East Coast, and I worked with some phenomenal dudes, great station, 82. You guys know who you are if you even listen to this. But I mean, you're talking guys that are hunting, fishing, surfing, airboats, four-wheelers, right? Like good old boys. And they're like, man, why are you going to Pacific Northwest, dude? Don't you know? Like when shit goes down, that's like the worst place. I'm like, no, I beg to differ. Because if it goes down when I'm here, I've got all you assholes I got to compete with fucking airboats. You guys know how to hunt. You're self-sufficient. I go, if I go up there, I go, this is what's going to happen. If shit goes down, I go, a third of the population instantly will just fucking implode.
That's what I'm saying.
They will, like within the first week, easily, right? And so let that happen. Because there's stuff here, there's resources here, like where we live out here in Central Oregon. This is a great community. I'm really happy to stumble on here because these ideas, like when I keep saying the silent majority isn't going to be silent, like the whole communities out here are together. Like communities will go in themselves, they will feed themselves, they will get running water, they will get food. We don't need fucking fuel to go anywhere because we can do it all here. We're not the only community like that. Like we will all be self-sustaining, and the government or whoever that relies on the people to operate, they will dissolve one way or another. Now it won't be pretty. They're going to be grasping at straws. But when everyone says, oh, the government's going to come, well, who is that? It's the people. There's people running the government. Well, and once you start attaching to their heartstrings with family and, oh, go take Billy Bob's fucking shotgun or whatever, like they're going to, at some point, they're going to go, fuck you, man.
No, I think the government is at the highest level. At the highest level of government, you have people that are drunk on their power. Yep. And people that think that they're modern day royalty, the people that are generationally in politics, the people like your Pelosi's and your fucking Obamas and the Bushes.
The rules for thee, not for me kind of
and
shit.
All of these motherfuckers that they think they're at the top and they think they get to do whatever they want. And we're just little fucking minions to them that are making them rich while they buy fucking 6 houses all over the country, even though they're just a fucking senator. You know,
we all see it.
We all see it, right? Yeah. But you take one step below that, i.e. their security detail. Now it's a bunch of dudes like me. Yep. I've been on Supreme Court Justice security details. I've been on State Department security details. Yeah. So have you. Yeah. So have half the dudes that got out of the special operations community. I know the people protecting you. I know how they're wired. I know the morals and the values that they hold. And they're not congruent with these people.
Yeah.
They're not. These people are out of touch with reality. They think that they're fucking they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Yep. And it's the same thing as you go down through the lower tiers of government, right?
Yeah.
The majority of people that work in government are police officers, are firefighters, are fucking educators.
Yeah.
They are not down with what is happening. They just don't see a viable option to change the trajectory. But they're backing everyone into a corner, and we're not going to, here's the good thing about it. We're not going to have to make the decision. Because I have people hit me up all the time. It's like, dude, when do we take this country back? When do we stand up for ourselves? I said, we're not going to have to make that decision.
It's going to be obvious.
They're making it for us.
Yep.
They're fucking telling private companies what to do.
Yeah.
They're fucking, bro, I'm telling you, kids are next. It's September 9th. By the time this airs, which will be 2 weeks from now, we're going to fucking see. It might already have been fucking implemented by then. Biden is completely out of control. But he's not out of control at all. He's just a fucktard doing what he's told. Yeah. Right?
Well, that's the other thing too. So like we're sitting here right now and we're slamming on Biden because rightfully so, like he is the overreach of the government is happening right now under the current administration. Like every administration there is further creates more laws that takes away our individual rights, whether it's Republican, whether it's fucking Democrat. Like there's this illusion, like, so like you and I, we were under, George W. Right. And dude, did a lot of things, whatever. I'm not gonna say yay or nay, great or not, because everyone's like, oh, it was all good. And I was like, all right, well, let's talk about the Patriot Act.
Yeah, was that all good?
Yeah, let's talk about the Patriot Act. Oh, yeah, the Patriot Act, that's good because, that allows us to catch the terrorists. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, guess what? Well, under the fucking Patriot Act, right?
Now I'm a terrorist.
I'm a fucking terrorist too because I've worked in the special operations community. I've done government contracts. I've bought more than 1,000 rounds of ammo. I'm preaching things like freedom. I use words like patriotism, like constitution, and now all of a sudden, those are flags to put me on some domestic terrorism watch list. It's like, what is the biggest fucking insult you can do to our vets right now, right? Like you got guys that have put everything for the country and they have such a determination, and they're willing to die for everyone's rights, right? Not just the right, everyone's fucking rights. And then they come back and you're like, oh, you're waving the American flag. You're a threat to our national security. Fuck you.
You're going on a list.
Yeah. You're on a list. So my whole point is that even during a Republican administration, more rules were being put in place that was chipping away at all of us, all of our rights as citizens, and it's continuing to happen. So even though we're bashing Biden, is because in the news today, this is all happening right now, right? Afghanistan is happening right now. All these mandates are happening right now. So yeah, so Biden's going to take some heat, but this is not a fucking right and left thing, okay? And when I'm right now, kind of back to the Oregon deal and the stuff. So in order to pitch in, I've been like, well, what can I do as just one person? So I was like, well, I'm a firefighter. I can talk. Let me get on the phone. Let me start just reaching out. Let's start connecting people and other firefighters, other departments, and find out what everybody's doing. And the reason why I mention that is because 9 out of 10, I would say even more than that. So like 95% of everybody that I talk to, okay, I haven't really gotten in many conversations about vaccine or no vaccine, right? Like, it's like, hey, we are all first responders. We're public servants. And in a time where we were serving the communities, where nobody knew what the fuck COVID was, nobody knew if we even had the right PPE, right? Like medics and all these private ambulance companies, we're like borrowing masks and gloves from each other because everyone's fucking running out, and we're still out there running all these calls.
And let me guess, you still took all the calls.
Still took all the calls.
You still served the community.
Yeah.
Even though we were being told this is the next Ebola.
Yeah.
Right?
We're all still doing it.
Same thing with all the cops I know, all the firefighters.
For sure.
Risking your own life, well, perceived risk of your own life, because now we know it's a narrative.
Correct.
But at the time, yeah, everybody was still going out there and doing what they do, showing courage, showing commitment.
So we got this thing, it's called risk a lot, save a lot, right? And so we as firefighters, we are given the I don't know if authority is the right word, but we're given the leeway to, on any given call, we, in a snap judgment moment, as you do as police officers too, you make a risk benefit assessment immediately of whether you can help save somebody, help save your buddy, pull someone out of a burning building, take someone down that's, doing armed robbery, whatever it is. You have the right to make the assessment and put your own life on the line to save someone else's. And we all have that. But now when I'm talking to all these other people all across the state, we don't talk about fucking vaccines. What we talk about is, now I don't have the right to make that risk benefit decision about my own fucking medical procedure. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And
both sides should be equally as outraged.
Equally.
And so if you got the vaccine, and bro, I've said this on the show a lot, I am against the vaccine.
Right.
For several reasons. And the primary one being, I am not in an at-risk group, and I'm not in an at-risk group because I've earned that. Like,
yeah.
When I walked in your house, your daughter said, how many pull-ups can you do? I said, I don't know. And I did a set of 20, and I haven't done pull-ups in months, right? But you and I have been on the grind physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually since we were 18-year-old kids in the Ranger Regiment, right?
Yeah.
I have enough faith and trust in my body that I'm going to let my body do its job, and I'm going to trust my immune system. Yeah. Now, if COVID was killing 40% of people, I might look at it a little differently.
Yeah.
But when it's killing less than 0.1%, shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
And I have the right to decide that.
And here's the other thing. You have the right to not live that life, right? Just like everybody has the right to pull those cigarettes off the shelf, keep smoking them. They have the right to keep buying those donuts. And everyone's like, our hospital system is getting inundated. We're like, well, no. All those people that have chosen, like everyone that I've run on with COVID, okay, and maybe I found out that they died afterwards. When we're trying to revive them, I'm looking at these folks and I'm like, you know what, dude, I could just take one look and say, they're not dying of COVID. They died with COVID. Yeah. I mean, so we have this device. It's called the Lucas machine, right? So fucking brilliant. It's a battery operated piston that does compressions for you. So it frees up a person from getting on the chest, and you strap this on the patient, and it does CPR at the push of a button. And it's big, it's wide. So the last time I went on a COVID death that we're trying to revive,
you couldn't
I
get
could not get it on him. I had to move skin to get around, and I'm like, no, we're getting this on him. Like, we have a lot to do. We need to get this. Like, oh, it doesn't fit. Like, we will get it to fit, and we did, barely. There, he had scars from previous, open heart surgeries, and then the family's telling us, oh yeah, he's got diabetes, and I'm looking around the house, and I'm like, dude, he's not living in really clean conditions, and there's stacks of coke and stacks of all things. So he was allowed to make his own risk-benefit assessment of how he's going to live his life, and turns out it didn't do so well for him. And yeah, COVID may have helped be the catalyst at the very end that kicked him off the edge, but he had that right to make those bad decisions throughout his entire life and pay the consequences of himself.
Yeah.
But we are now being deprived of that.
That's
the issue.
With a medication that we do not fully understand.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck if you're a virologist or epidemiologist, right, and you have 30 years of schooling.
Yeah.
Ranger says, this is this is a year old, and I don't have to trust it yet.
Absolutely.
And that's called intuition.
Yeah.
And bro, guys like us are alive because of intuition.
Yeah.
And you want to fucking say, like, I've talked about it before, the book, The Gift of Fear, by Gavin de Becker.
Yeah.
It's a whole book about intuition, right? Your intuition is one of the most powerful tools that you have. Intuition has kept people alive from the beginning of time. There's something about this that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. When more kids died last year of influenza than COVID, those are the numbers. This isn't me fucking spewing right-wing conspiracies. More kids died of influenza than COVID, but you want to mandate COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
Okay,
for all the children.
What are we talking about here? When you can catch and spread COVID if you're vaccinated, and you can catch and spread COVID if you're unvaccinated, okay? We all agree that being vaccinated does not prevent you from spreading it. So it's like you're fucking talking to children when the president's up on his podium saying all this shit. It's like, dude, we know what you're saying is a lie, but I want to know, there's a couple things that it makes you think about. We know you're lying, and we know you're being disingenuous. So why?
Yeah.
Is it simply to make billions of dollars? If they told us, Pfizer's making billions of dollars and they're giving kickbacks to politicians that enforce the mandates, I'd say, okay, I get it. Now I understand why you're doing it. At the same time, get the ropes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's even darker than that, dude. It's darker than that. Yeah. And I'm not going to say that it's a Bill Gates plot to depopulate the earth, because I don't have the facts. But people that are very intelligent, people that I put a lot of trust in, are starting to go down the even darker rabbit holes. And I'll tell you what, I'm not counting anything out anymore. Bill Gates is telling you what to put in your body, and the guy looks like a bag of absolute shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't listen to people that look like you on what to put in my body. To go back real quick to when I was saying, like, I've chose not to get the vaccine because I don't believe in it. But the people that did choose to get the vaccine because they believe in it, and they read their studies and they drew their conclusions. And dude, people that I love drew that conclusion. Some of my very best friends drew that conclusion. So I'm not saying, oh, you people that came to that conclusion are fucking morons. Yeah. I'm saying, my heart took me a different direction, and this is where I landed. Yours took you a different direction, and that's where you landed. And that's good. Like, you do you.
Welcome to the United States of America.
That's exactly right. But my point is, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you arrived on. Everybody should be equally outraged that they're going to start segregating us based on what side of the fence we're on. We don't need to be segregated from each other. My best friend fucking took the shot. I don't need to be segregated from him. Yeah. Right. It's like, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make classes of people. And I'm telling you, bro, here's my next Nostradamus prediction. We're not going to be able to fly soon. That's coming.
Oh, it's coming, man. There's already been a couple airlines I've been heard through the channels. I think Delta's one of them. So everyone's like, no, all right, I'm never flying fucking Delta.
And bro, we're not flying Delta during this fucking weird pandemic ever fucking again.
Yeah.
All of these companies that are pushing all of their fucking politically driven agendas.
Yeah.
We're not going to vote with our dollar for Delta right now. No, fuck you. Forever.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to remember that.
Yeah.
You know, we should build something of all the companies nationwide that turn their back on the people.
Yeah.
And when all this is said and done at some point and this country turns around, you're still on the never again list, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So everyone thinks because they're in the news that like Amazon and Delta and Google, like they're the only people with money, right? Like they feel like they're the only people with money. Well, guess what? There's some rich motherfuckers out there that like freedom and they're fucking donating. They're giving money. They're hiring the lawyers right now. They're saying, you know what? I believe in this cause because I live in this country and I love freedom and I love America and I love all the rights that I have here because that has allowed me to build my wealth. It has allowed me to stay free. Has allowed me. So I'm going to go ahead and drive them into the ground too. Fuck you. Right. So that's this is an all call for like, if you are seeing the direction it's heading, okay, like there are ways that we can all get on this freaking gravy train with biscuit wheels and push and move it without martyrdom. Okay,
Yeah.
because right now I try to like, you know, some of the guys that I work with, you know, they're very, and you and I were talking about this earlier about like right now there's you got the religious exemption or. In Oregon, so I'm not a lawyer, but right now it's funny. So they got rid of the Oregon Health Authority had the documents and they had a religious or medical exemption, but then they realized, I think, okay, again, I'm not a lawyer, but to my understanding, they changed it from exemption to exception because they're like, well, an exemption means a law doesn't apply to you. And guess what? There is no fucking law right now. There's no law that states you have to do that. A mandate is not a law. I mean, you're a police officer. Maybe you can expound on that, right? So they changed it to exception. But anyways, so I'm talking with these guys and they're like, I shouldn't have to put a religious exception. And that's bullshit. And I'm like, correct. It is bullshit. You should not have to. But in guerrilla warfare is the dude that is not putting on a uniform of a regular military and standing out in the field and facing the big, you know, USG or whoever it is that has the tanks and the bombs and the guns. Sorry, what zombie reference? What was that? Cranberries? Anyways, fuck. Something shiny, I saw it. Anyways, dude, so when they go and they're going against the tanks and bombs and shit.
That was terrible.
It was horrible.
But I don't edit shit out, so everyone's going to know how terrible of a person you are.
So my dad jokes are infiltrating the serious talk of guerrilla warfare. No, man. So like, all right. So all these motherfuckers that are laying in low and they're hiding out and they're waiting for the military to fly away and then they're all going to come down. Are they a bunch of fucking idiots? No, dude, they're fighting a force bigger than themselves. And if they stand out in the field and they identify what they're doing and let their tactics known to everyone, they're going to get mowed down. They're going to get smoked. So what do? They lay low. They play the long game. They do little victories, right? So I'm trying to tell them about back to, you know, before my horrible fucking cranberries reference. These guys that are afraid of doing religious exceptions or whatever, like religion, like atheism is a religion. Religion is a strongly held beliefs, and there is no fucking third party that can validate your moral and ethical beliefs. There's no person that can check you off and say, oh yeah, that's legit and that's not. So,
but are there? I mean, obviously, when we're saying that there's nobody that can do that, we're saying that from a moral, ethical, and a truthful standpoint. Nobody can take your belief system and validate it or invalidate it, right?
Yeah.
But I've heard, and again, I don't know if this is rumor mill, but I've heard for the religious exemptions, they actually want like a written paragraph. They want examples out of scripture, like real shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if that's true, and if anybody's listening and you know if you've been asked to do that, please email me. I want to hear these stories. And if that's happening, like now you literally do have some person sitting in an office somewhere,
yep,
putting their own bias on it,
Yep.
And here comes this exemption for them. Well, this person said this, and they cited something out of the Quran. Well, I don't really like Muslims, and so you know what I mean. Like now you're putting a human's like a human's fucking approach to it, and now it's no longer black and white. Everything's gray and muddled and gross, right? And so. What is, and one thing that I found interesting, I told you when we were having dinner, like Inslee's fucking ass said religious exemptions may be considered, right? Philosophical objections will not.
Yeah.
So if your God tells you, for whatever reason, that this is a bad idea, we might. We might.
Yeah, we might let it fly.
Let it fly.
Yeah.
But if you as an individual person don't cite some ancient texts, we don't give a fuck what your opinions are. We don't care what your philosophies are.
If you don't attach the Dead Sea Scrolls and PDF to your fucking deal, you're out of here.
That's right, dude.
Yeah,
right?
That's fucked.
That's where the fuck we're at. So I get when guys are like, fuck your exemption.
Yeah,
and if I was still a cop, there's a 0% chance I could still be a cop. Zero. I would have, and me and my wife joke about it all the time. It's like, you would have been fired literally 1,000 times. Because it's like, hey, put a mask on. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Hey, Anderson, come on, you're being crazy. You know, like that moment would have played out one way or another 1,000 times over.
Yeah. Well, this is funny too, man, because like we would get that, you know, so we live in a firehouse, okay, close quarters, and you violate the 15 minutes of being in the same room or whatever it is. Scientists deemed like this is how long you got to be to get COVID, and so they were like, this doesn't make sense in the firehouse. We're not going to do it, but make sure you wear them when you're driving around on the fire engine.
Oh,
so it's like, well, why?
Well, why? Public appearance.
That's it.
Public appearance, Dave.
That's it. So
perception is reality.
So we want everyone to follow this fucking norm that doesn't make any sense. But if the people in uniform are doing it, then everyone else should follow too. And we need to do the right thing. And it's like, how about the right thing is use your own fucking common sense and do whatever the fuck you want.
Do you want to hear the stupidest thing that you're going to hear today?
Other than my cranberries reference?
As I have a lot of buddies actually that are in the fire service in Washington.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is right now, each department is kind of interpreting the governor's mandate in their own way, and then their legal staff is doing the same thing. And some departments are like, well, we're not going to enforce it. That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And then others are, well, we have to do this. And then I was talking to one guy, and his department says they have to take it or get tested, I think the beginning of every shift. And check this out. If you chose not to get vaccinated, you have to wear a mask 24/7 while you're at work, even if you're in your private bunk room sleeping.
Dude,
bro, how are we having this conversation?
What the fuck?
Yeah, and that's not, hey, you know what? If you took the vaccine, we now believe that you're safe enough that you don't have to do these things. No. That's not how they arrived at that conclusion. How they arrived at that conclusion is these guys are bucking the system. Let's make their life hell somehow.
Dude,
we're going to make them sleep in a fucking mask.
That's it.
That's called coercion. And that's illegal.
And it's segregation.
Yeah.
And they're dividing. They're like, oh, you know what? We're going to treat this group differently under these circumstances. And man, what I really, so here's the thing, like, so some of it, even though I'm against all of the being told what to do and all that, right? So like there was an argument to be had from the science when they were like, well, we don't want to give this dying grandma or the sick public, we were going into their homes, we don't want to be able to spread COVID to them. So we're going to get the shot for them. We're going to wear the mask for them. So like, okay, well, rule number one, we've got all this PPE now. We have ways to protect any of that stuff anyways, right? One. but you got to be able to wear it because some stuff has like, it protects us, but we're still breathing our stuff out.
Yeah.
So we can't wear that shit, obviously, right? But the other thing is, when the mecca of all medical knowledge, the CDC, comes out and says, hey, guess what? Yeah, you still got to wear your mask because it turns out the vaccine doesn't help prevent transmission, but it's 95% effective, so everyone should do it. Well, wait a minute. What does that mean when you tell me it's effective? Well, it's known and it proves that it prevents
viral load from taking control of lung tissue.
Dude,
that's what they're saying.
Right. Well,
right?
So I think so, man. So here's the Brett Weinstein. He's got a Dark Horse podcast, man. I would recommend anyone to listen to it because some of the most intelligent conversations I've heard on COVID has been on that. And this dude's like, I don't even think he's a Republican. He's not a Trumper. He's not an anti-vaxxer. Like, this is just a scientist looking at information, and he breaks stuff down pretty easily. And to my understanding, that he doesn't knock the vaccine's effectiveness in preventing those most at risk from dying and winding up on a ventilator to the hospital. And 95% or whatever that 90% number is for that, great. But the whole reason most of these firefighters are taking the shot, not because they feel like they're at risk, because they don't want to give it to the people. So now, if that isn't even in the equation anymore, what is the logic to give it to us?
If it doesn't prevent transmission.
If it doesn't prevent it for someone else. Oh, it's for your own good. Well, who the fuck is supposed to decide that?
Bro, and it goes back and forth too. Like, they go back and forth depending on what's going to serve the narrative.
Yeah.
And Biden said today, this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Support, dude.
Of the unvaccinated.
You showed me a clip. It's like, okay, and what are all the things I'm supposed to say? Oh yeah, support the troops, support the troops, and thank you first responders, and get vaccinated. And he like leaves the thing. I'm like, holy shit,
bro. Just think about what you just said.
Yeah,
because that's how he ended it. He goes, thank you to all of our hardworking first responders and medical personnel. Well,
by the way, a third of you are fired.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the way you thank them, by telling them you do what I say or I'm going to fucking fire you?
Yeah.
Then the next statement is, God bless our troops. Yeah. I hope God blesses them because your fucking ass certainly doesn't.
Yeah.
You just got 13 Marines killed.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't even read their fucking names.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, oh God. So thank you to medical personnel on the front lines, even though I'm fucking you.
Yeah.
And then God bless our troops, even though I'm fucking you. Get vaccinated.
Well, guess what? So
everything that's coming out of your mouth is fucking rotten.
So he's trying to sweep that shit under the rug. He's trying to say support the troops, but guess what? It doesn't work, man. Because I walk into a bar here. Jess and I went the other day, and we're just going to a local watering hole. There's 13 shots, fucking poured, sitting on the table. American flag. There's a name at each fucking shot that these are reserved, and so everybody, they're seeing what the fuck's going on, and they're irate. Right. And this isn't red. This isn't a red, blue, right, left. This is just human beings.
People are fed.
This is fucking, we all live on planet Earth, and we're just like, hey, like, treat others as you want to be treated. And none of us are getting that treatment. And so I'm getting not a lot of pushback, but it's funny because, I'm calling around the state and I'm trying to get Mandate Free Oregon. I don't know. We should probably put that in show notes. Mandate Free Oregon right now is an organization that was started by firefighters, that nurses are getting in the bandwagon. People are pumping money into the war chest. This is like, hey, we're going to take on the state, and this is going to be a long haul. We're taking them on and we're doing it. Everyone get fucking involved. Jump on that for your initial just staying in the loop, right? So anyways, I'm calling around just trying to get...
So hold on though. Mandate Free Oregon?
Mandate Free Oregon. Now there's a few different platforms.
.what?
Org. O-R-G.
Okay.
Pretty sure, man. I'll get my facts straight by the end of this, but...
So I can put it... I'll get the correct one in the show notes.
We'll get in the notes. Well, the reason why I say .org, because I'm not on Facebook, but I'm told there is a Facebook group. The last time they were counting, there was like 5,000 followers on it. There's Telegram, which is another messaging app, I guess like WhatsApp. I wasn't aware of it, but I think there's close to 2,000 of us on there that are talking and putting minds together. And it's just hardworking people like, hey, my daughter's going to nursing school and they're trying to force her. And what do I do? Or, hey, I'm a nurse here. Or, hey, I'm a firefighter here. And it's just people getting together. And so like right now, I think September 18th, everyone's going to go to the Capitol in Salem here just to kind of show numbers and show support for like, hey, we're not for it. But the funny thing is like we're getting to this issue of like right versus wrong, and that's kind of what it comes down to when I'm talking on these phones with these guys. Like I've never met these people in my life, and I'm just like, hey man, I work here, you work there, let's just talk. And when it comes down to is some unions, they are just like, you know what, fuck this. Like, yeah, half of us are vaccinated or most of us are vaccinated. But guess what? If one goes down over their own medical decision, like these are our brothers and sisters. Like we risk our lives, daily, maybe like cliche, but it can happen, right? So like we risk our lives, we're going out on shift with these people, and you're going to fire them and have them not be able to pay for the roof over their head and take food out of their fucking kids' mouths. And so you want to get rid of them. And so some union leadership, they're going, no, we're a union. This is what we do. We stand up for all the little guys, even if it's just one person you want to get rid of. Like, here we are. Fuck you. Fuck your mandate. We're not doing it.
I like hearing that because I've heard the opposite. No. Unions are just rolling over and showing their bellies like the fucking cowards that they are.
This is what's happening, right? So I'm gonna without naming names, but this is what's happening. So right now I'm learning some of this, and I'm new to it, and I'm just a fucking knuckle dragger fireman, right? Like I got into this because, well, one, I'm probably not smart enough to do anything else, maybe, right? So if everything isn't 100% accurate,
don't be self-deprecating on the show. I don't allow that.
Anyways, wow, thanks. I like the new Greg. The new Greg, this is nice.
That's a mandate.
Yeah, no, a mandate is when a couple of fellers get together and hang out.
We've already been over that your jokes.
Yeah,
are also bad. Not welcome on the podcast.
Roger that.
So just stay to mandate-freeorgan.org.
Right. So in these conversations, there's a lot of unions standing the fuck up, right? There's people saying, no, I don't like it. Not only just unions, but the fire chiefs, right? A fire chief that maybe doesn't have the union, isn't representation, maybe too high, it's above it. And it's like, you know what? If one dude is going to get let go or one gal is going to get let go, I've failed my job. And I'm gonna walk, right?
Well, like, bro, if every chief and every both police chiefs and fire chiefs would do that, this would have ended a year ago.
Yeah.
If the leadership would have been strong, thank you. If the leadership would have stayed strong from the beginning and just simply said, we don't fucking buckle to pressure, we don't give in to bullying tactics, and if you don't like it, we'll stop answering calls for service.
Yep.
You know, like have some fucking balls.
Yep.
Like, dude, Seattle right now, I've heard is over 60 minutes for calls for service. Think about that. That's not even a first response anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like,
well, another thing is too, like everyone just thinks like, oh, like this magical 911 button that I dial and someone shows up, like just
save me.
Or just like the magical, like, oh, I'm hungry, the food is going to be on the shelf at the fucking store. Like we all take it for granted, right? But like most of every state is rural, and guess who comes to the rescue? It's somebody not even getting paid. It's a volunteer that shows up. They're not getting paid. Their own time. They're coming to help you out. They're coming to put the fire out, and you're telling them you're going to get let go unless you get this jab. Well, guess what? They don't have a job to lose. So these departments that I'm talking to that have a huge volunteer base, all the people that rely on that service, they're not going to have a fucking service.
Yeah,
because
I
they
think
just
that's a great point.
all of those people out.
We talked about that over dinner. As you said, like, there's a substantial amount of people in the fire service in Oregon that are on a volunteer basis.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting anything out of this other than the service to my community. And that is fulfilling. That's powerful, right? I get why people do that.
Yeah. But
I'm also not going to be fucking held hostage by volunteering my time. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's one thing, like, I've been in conversations, I hear about, Seattle guys or Salem guys or Portland guys or any like the big cities, they're all like, well, if we all walk, then they'll listen. I'm like, dude, have any of you guys looked around your fucking cities right now, right? Like, look at the homeless. Look at them shooting up. Look at them living on the street, right? Like, we all understand now this is not an affordable housing thing, right? That narrative has fucking flown and sailed long ago. And they're not even talking about it now because there is no even viable conversation right now for both sides of it, right? So, and look at the police in Portland. I think they've lost over like 100 dudes since the riots, easily, like 100 guys and gals, you know what I mean? So, and then do you think they give a fuck if they're going to get 100 or so freaking firefighters to walk? They don't give a fucking shit. They don't care if the cities collapse, right? Like,
that's what they want, bro.
To the point where I'm feeling that. So thank you so much. I'm feeling like that might be the case, man. But I tell you what, though,
bro, you said another thing we talked about over dinner is because they're saying like, oh, you have to get the shot. I mean, they just keep taking the narrative down whatever direction they can just stretch it, right? Because the hospital beds are filling up.
Yeah.
The hospital beds are filling up, which is not true.
Yeah.
And there's Mitch's when you're not on Instagram, so you don't know what I'm talking about. So okay, yeah, Nicole shared a bunch of information where you can actually go look up bed numbers. It's public knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And she went and pulled up bed numbers from like all these different hospitals.
Yeah.
It's all fucking lies. It's all inflated.
Yeah.
But
sensationalism it's clickbait, dude.
But when you say like, oh no, it's because you're basically eating into our resources and we can't have our resources being eaten up by COVID.
Right.
So you have to go do this. And what did you say to me immediately? Do you remember?
Nope.
You said over 50% of our calls are for homeless drug addicts.
Yeah.
You want to talk about resources. And I said, oh, that's interesting because when I was a police officer in Seattle, that was the same thing, maybe more. And all these people want to fucking talk about resources, hospital beds, first responders.
We should stop treating the unvaxxed and let's not even medically like help them out.
Let's just
because they've made a bad choice.
Let's just let them die.
Yeah,
that's what people are saying.
They're making a bad choice, and we should make them pay. Like, well, you mean this dude that's freaking freebasing on the freaking street and then taking a shit and passing out? We need to help them. We need to go give them Narcan.
Yeah, we give them Narcan and we fucking revive them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
it's not his fault. He's just looking for affordable housing.
That's my point. They want to act like our resources are so important.
Yeah.
That I mean, it's great that you're in Portland and I'm in Seattle because we can compare who's a bigger shithole story.
I never said that I was there. I don't know what you're talking about. OPSEC violation.
Fucking the reality of it is they don't care about the resources. Yeah. Our resources are being fucking eaten up and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like Seattle, 90% of the resources are eaten up by homeless drug addicts. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah, and
they made it okay to steal.
Yeah, they made it okay to steal. They made it okay to take your catalytic converters. They made it okay to park with their no license plate and on this piece of shit. But then I park next to them and my plates are expired by 1 month. Guess who gets the ticket? Me, motherfucker. And that's happened. I'm just are you fucking kidding me right now?
And you can't even tow them because, but it's where they live. What? Yeah. So my 4Runner can get towed because I was responsible enough to buy a house.
Right.
But since you live in this rotten, disgusting, fucking, and you know why they won't tow them? And they want to act like it's out of compassion. We can't tow them because it's where they live. You want to know why they really won't tow them? Because I had to tow one personally. You have to pay the tow bill. Then you have to pay the destruction bill.
Oh man, that's a business.
$10,000.
Whoa.
$10,000. No. That's wrong. That was to destroy a meth addict's mobile home.
Oh, okay.
The motor home that was parked out front was $3,000. So a normal hook bill to hook a car is what, $400 to $600, you know?
Right.
Then you get it out of the impound.
Right.
Nobody's coming to get these things out of impound.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what to do with them.
Yeah.
And so if you tow one of those now, you have to pay the impound fee and the destruction fee, which is like $2,500.
Yeah. Dude, Yeah, and
the city doesn't want to deal with that.
That's the Atlas Shrugged shit, dude. Like we're bleeding right now. Like those that are abiding by the rules. Yeah, hemorrhage. That's a good term. I've got good thing I carry tourniquets. Dude. So we were kind of like when we're talking about the hospital beds. Now, no, there are places that are full, and it's kind of funny because when you lay off a lot of your staff under COVID because hospitals are going to shut down because the ERs aren't the big money-making things. It's outpatient procedures. And so when you start losing nurses and shutting this shit down, like we are in a shortage of them, right? So guess what? You're going to have a hard time having enough people to treat folks in beds. Go figure. So is the problem the rampant Delta variant, or could part of it also be logistics to like, well, how the fuck did we get here? Right. Like,
well, and bro, here's the other side of it. You want to fucking talk about straining the healthcare system?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what's really straining the healthcare system.
Yeah, man.
Is your fat fucking ass.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah. Number one, number two killer, like heart disease.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
So you're not on Instagram, so you didn't see this. Jess, did you see my State of the Union? Dude, I'm going to play it right now. I'm just going to play it on the air because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pretend I'm president right now.
Oh, dude. Let's hear it.
And I'm going to put a suit and a tie on.
That's freaking hilarious.
And,
no way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and I'm going to release my own mandates to the country that I decided. Here's how fucking retarded people are. Some people thought it was a real fucking... people are sending me messages like, your mandates are fucking unconstitutional. You're a tyrant too. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker, when I'm talking about me and my administration, I don't have one. This is satire.
This is a joke.
This is a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
So, this is the thing. So you can have a conversation with anyone of like, hey, how do you feel things are going in the country right now, right? No one will agree that everything's great. And everyone can somewhat come to a conclusion that like, yeah, something's kind of wrong, but I don't know what's up or whatever. But this is the real, but because they think that's real, like they feel like we're all stupid because we're letting them do this.
He's laughing at the picture.
Oh my
God. The video of me in my suit giving my State of the Union.
Is your hair slicked back?
It is.
Dude, that's amazing.
I didn't want people to see my mullet because mullets aren't professional.
That's right. Well, yeah, you got to play that. But what I was just the point I was trying to make is the reason why these narratives are gaining traction is because we have never stepped up to say, hey, that bullshit doesn't work with us because we're too busy going to our jobs. We're not going to the school board meetings. We're not going to the freaking city hall meetings because we're too busy trying to eke out our own way in life, right? We're trying to pay our way. And so because we don't step up and say that's bullshit, and because we don't fucking like call stuff out, they're going to continue to do it and act like we're this unmoving sheep. And some of us are. But dude, there's a majority of us. Like this is the time where we're supposed to speak up and we're supposed to speak out and we're supposed to just call out the right and wrong of what's happening and freaking move on it, right? Like don't allow it. We're giving them the power to do that. So, all right, let's hear this thing, dude.
All right, you're going to like this.
All right.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. In the wake of the last 18 months, I believe it is important to discuss our ongoing health crisis sweeping across this country. My administration has met with medical professionals, scientists, nutritionists, and mental health experts, and we have outlined a program that will continue to keep all Americans safe. In addition to the current mandates and restrictions that are currently being implemented, my administration and I have decided to move forward through necessary executive action to immediately implement the Healthy Lifestyle Act. Effective immediately, all Americans will be mandated to undergo a preliminary diagnostic physical to assess their BMI, body mass index. Americans with a BMI over 25 will go on to secondary screening to accurately calculate their body fat percentage through hydrostatic body fat testing. Americans determined to have a body fat percentage greater than 20% will be directed to download the Healthy Lifestyle app and purchase the Healthy Lifestyle watch, which will interface with the app. This app will capture and share your body's physiological data to ensure you are adhering to the following protocols. Users must log 30 minutes of rigorous cardiovascular exercise a day. This will be ensured through both heart rate recordings and GPS locational
yes.
data. A minimum heart rate of 150 beats per minute during exercise must be obtained to ensure daily credit is achieved. Users must upload a picture of each meal to ensure that calorically dense foods, trans fats, and high fructose corn syrups are avoided. In addition to this, restaurants that serve meals that do not meet compliance will be on the off-limits location list. A list of off-limits location can be observed on the app. Additionally, GPS tracking will ensure users of the Healthy Lifestyle app are avoiding prohibited restaurants. Heart disease, arterial sclerosis, and diabetes are causing deaths and filling our hospitals at an alarming rate. And while we understand this may cause inconveniences in your life, compliance is mandatory for your safety. If you are found outside of compliance, you will be sent a warning message via text message. A secondary non-compliant violation will be met with a fine, and a tertiary non-compliant violation will result in inpatient treatment at a professional medical facility. Inpatient treatment will continue until the desired BMI is achieved. Thank you for your continued cooperation in defeating both the pandemic and overcoming our healthy lifestyle obstacles. This administration will stay committed to keeping you safe at any and all costs. Lastly, please note that religious and philosophical exemptions may not be considered. May God bless you, and may God bless this nation.
Yeah. You should end it with like, God. And don't forget to support the troops and do burpees. Start vaccinated. Start running. Yeah.
Bro, and people thought that there was some people that thought that was real.
Yeah, the flat earthers.
And bro, that made me realize, like, right there, I'm like,
yeah,
God, I'm trying to save hope for this country.
Yeah. Well,
like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Let me sprinkle some more of that.
I called it the State of the Union address. I'm not I'm going to let everybody in on a little secret.
Yeah.
I'm not the president.
Yeah. Who are those, dude? Who are the late show hosts and stuff where they'll take current events that are either like total bullshit or whatever, and they just start randomly walking up to people with a microphone and like, what do you feel about women's suffrage, right? You know, and they're like, oh, I think the women's suffrage is really bad because they shouldn't suffer at all, and right, and just like, God damn, dude, we are fucking so stupid, right? So those are the people, man. Those are the people you grab with that.
Well, and fuck it, someone was just telling me, because I have 90,000 followers now, right? And they're like, bro, you got to think about 90,000 followers, and then you get a handful of people that share it. So now it's going out to their followers.
Yeah.
So you might put something out there that gets a couple 100,000 eyes on it.
Yeah.
That's 2 football stadiums filled with human beings.
Yeah.
When you try and understand it and perceive it in a manner that like makes visual sense, you're standing at a fucking football stadium and every seat is filled. Okay. So if you're standing at a football stadium that's at capacity, and you have to stand at the exit door and watch every person go by, how many fucking weirdos are going to walk through there? you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many fucktards are going to walk through there?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just nothing more. Dude, it's math.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get 100 people, and 90, I would say, I'm just going to completely start making up numbers right now. But I would say out of 100 human beings, 85% of the people I could figure out a way to get along with. Right? I'm not saying I'm going to be their best friend or we're going to be homies or we're going to vibe. No. But 85% of the people, like, I can find enough common ground where we could be civil to each other and we could get along. Yeah. Then there's going to be probably 10 that are kind of dicey. Like, I can't fucking, like, we're just on different fucking energy fields. We don't vibe, and I don't like you, you don't like me, but that's fine, right? Yeah. And then there's going to be 5 that I want to fucking chop their head off and put them on the pikes in front of my compound, right? And so it just is what it is, right? Yeah. And I don't care who you are or what your fucking, the circle that you run with or your political affiliations or whatever. Right. But that's probably roughly true for the majority of people, right? Yeah. Like, getting along with people and fucking vibing with people and just being what I call normal. Yeah. shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
But there's 5% of people, it is hard. It's impossible. And fuck, dude, we could go down 1,000 rabbit holes on why they're like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It sounds like science. I'm just going to follow your science because that's what we do. You just say the word science.
Well, speaking of science, I'm drinking a cup of water and it's fucking delicious. Mm-hmm. It does not have fluoride in it.
It does not. Non-fluoride.
So, dude, because one of my buddies was talking about fluoride the other day about how bad it is.
Yeah.
And then he told me about some of the theories about Nazi Germany utilizing fluoride to make people more compliant, more docile, and how it calcifies the pineal gland. And so I started reading and trying to look into this, right?
Yeah.
And everything you look up on the internet is so convoluted, you don't know what's true and what's not true, right?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So check this out. No sources could verify that fluoride was used by Nazi Germany. No sources could verify that Hitler used it to make people docile. And all of these like Snopes and fact finders, everyone's shooting it down, right? Saying it's not true, it's not true.
Yeah.
However, a Harvard study did conclude that drinking fluoride in your water does lower your IQ.
There you
go, right?
Yeah.
There's no more fucking talk or conspiracy to be had at this point.
So and this is where everyone, listen, man, like before we just are so quick to align how we make decisions, how we go about our day, the hardcore position we're going to take on something. Okay. Do me a favor. Stop just fucking repeating what you heard or what title you read or a ticker tape across the screen that quickly flashed and you're not going to bother to actually look into it. Like, stop having that be what's dividing you from your neighbor, because 95% of shit you're going to agree with. Okay. And this 5% that you're so hardcore on, guess what? It might not even be a thing. So get off your ass and do some reading and realize that the people running Snopes, they're not fucking scientists. Facebook fact checkers aren't goddamn PhDs. Okay. Like these people that are fucking rolling in here and saying, oh, we found that to be incorrect and that. It's like, dude, just do some fucking digging. Like, dude, someone, we're on the rig the other day and I heard another guy say this and it was funny. He said he was on the rig and we all got headsets on because it's loud. And so we could talk to each other almost like it is on here. And the horse dewormer came up in the conversation of ivermectin. Right. And so, and then it took one person to say, well, yeah, it's an anti-parasitic and you can use it on horses, just like you can use ibuprofen on animals. And just like I had a dog that had a congestive heart failure. Guess what they gave him? This weird thing called Lasix. So all these fucking patients that need their water pill for congestive heart failure, and they're like, oh, you don't take that. That's a dog pill. Like, no, listen.
Well, were there people at your work that were buying into this? Oh, Joe Rogan took a horse medicine.
No, it didn't go that deep. It's just the term, oh, you mean the horse paste would come up, but that's as far as it would go. And then all you have to do is say, well, actually, check it out, man. This medicine has been around for decades, right? It has stopped certain things,
Malaria?
Dude, malaria.
It won the Nobel Peace Prize for that.
Scabies, right. So, but all they do is they've got this like quick term. It fits in with the side they've already picked, and they're not going to spend any fucking effort to actually look up something, right? Like, dude, the jury's out for me on tons of shit. Like, dude, working for the government as long as we did, being in the military, going overseas, just being on planet Earth with our own kind of logical reasoning getting us through places. Whatever comes on the TV is going to get a dose of healthy skepticism. I'm not going to buy it and I'm not going to discredit it right off the bat. I'm going to go, oh, okay. And that's it. And then I'm going to ask somebody who knows, use my own deductive reasoning, read something to come up with my own conclusion. I don't do that with everything, but if I'm going to make an important decision, or if I'm going to fucking try to shoot someone down or shame them into not knowing something, or like make them feel stupid and repeat some stuff, I better sure shit know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Like, at least I'll do that, but we don't do that.
Well, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Our major media news sources are purposely spreading disinformation now, right? And it used to be CNN leans left and Fox leans right. And
Yeah.
you'll tell you'll give an interview and they'll chop it up and then they'll give 30 seconds of it and it won't really sound like what you said. They'll kind of put their spin on it.
Yeah.
That's been media since the beginning of time. Media is propaganda, right? It's been happening since fucking recorded history.
Yeah.
But the problem is now it's no longer putting a spin or kind of misconstruing a little bit. It's fabrications and lies.
Yeah.
And bro, that is affecting people's lives. People should be able to, in good faith, turn on their television to their local or national news channel and have enough faith that the people that are delivering the news are giving you truth and factual information.
Yeah.
They're straight lying. Like Joe Rogan just said, I saw it today. He goes, I should fucking sue CNN. Yeah. That's what I should fucking do. I should sue them because they're telling lies about me. Right? They're not.
Is that slander? I can't remember. There's like
there's libel and slander.
Libel, yeah.
But I think so. It's funny. Me and my wife were just talking about this earlier today. To sue with under libel or slander, right? You have to be able to articulate how the words that somebody said about you negatively impacted your life, either, financially or whatever the aspect is, right? But I was like, well, I think Rogan could actually say that because he has a big platform of people. He is a comedian. He is a fight commentator, right? He has a professional setting where he has fans. He has people that listen to him. He has people that buy his products. Now CNN is putting out a narrative that this guy's a big dummy and he's taking animal meds. This guy's a big dummy. And they were saying that like, oh, I can't believe that anyone would listen to this guy on health advice. He's taking veterinarian medication. Right. And Rogan goes, that's not something, they didn't just kind of misconstrue a story. They told lies about me because I went to my doctor and he prescribed this to me. And I went to the pharmacy and I took the medication.
The horse pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly, right? He did everything by the book. But because the doctor that Joe Rogan is using didn't fall in line with the protocol that's being pushed by the fucking major news networks and the fucking corrupt left.
Right.
Well, now they have to fucking destroy his character. Yeah. And they have to so how are we going to destroy Joe Rogan's character? Let's make him look like a dummy. He's into fighting and stuff and he's a jokester. He says fuck a lot. He smokes weed. Let's just make him look like a dummy.
Yeah.
Well, so if you make someone look like a dummy who does get their source of income and their professional careers intertwined with selling tickets to shows and interacting with the public, I think you could easily connect those dots and be like, yeah, when you're making me out to be a stupid person, that does affect me professionally.
Yeah. Yeah. I might have something there. Well, if anybody has some cash to throw at a lawyer to friggin' take that shit on and pursue it, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of those things where it's like, maybe it's just principle. Like, I don't need to get a bunch of money from CNN. I just simply need to show you that you're lying pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
it is sad, like you said a moment ago, that we should be able to turn on the news and have a good source of information. But unfortunately, I mean, that's not where we're at, and whatever it could be a result of capitalism, I mean, where money drives, I mean, whatever, dude, that's where we're at. But the thing is, man, it's just kind of like, so if somebody walked up to you and said, hey, Greg, don't worry, man. You don't got to store any food. There's always going to be plenty of food, right? You don't have to worry about securing your family. We got that covered, right? You're always going to have clean running water. You're going to be safe. Everything's going to be okay, right? So if you put your entire trust and faith into someone else telling you something that you're going to base your life, your family's life, your security, existence on, then whose fault is that?
Yeah, it's 100% your fault.
It's fucking your fault. So if you're going to watch the fucking news and just go, I'm for science. Well, I believe in science. I'm like, yeah, cool, me too. But you know what I don't believe in? I don't believe in any study that is conducted by the company that is going to sell a product or has any kind of dog in the fight. Period. Right? That is that's a conflict of interest for me, right? So when someone tells me to follow the science, I'm like, okay, cool. I can hear what the Pfizer study said or this study that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not disproving it, but you know what? I'm not gonna put my life or my family's life on the fact that the science and this ticker tape is telling me this, because dude, fucking NPR, totally left leaning thing. I love when people source, like there's an article, man, about like how many drugs get recalled maybe like a decade later that was FDA approved. And it was like 25% or something, like a big fucking number. And they didn't know that until the people have been using it and taking it for fucking 10 years. And then they go, oh yeah, we can't, we're going to either, I think they call it like a black label warning, or they completely remove it totally. So like that right there in and of itself, when someone says FDA approved, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, for now, right? Like you got to make your own judgment, your own assumption. Just don't believe blindly. And I don't give a fuck, man. I mean, if someone's just going to buy into it, like, okay.
Yeah, yes, I see. I mean, I see your point.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's a lot of people in our society, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
They're just, they have blinders on. Yeah. They're fucking gullible. They're just, I don't know if they're fucking stupid people or if they just haven't put any of their energy into learning about their political structure and the system of government that's in place. But there's a lot of people that do believe the shit that they're told. Well, Biden just said that there's no beds available. So if you don't get a vaccine, you're going to kill my grandmother. And perception is reality.
Yeah.
So if they perceive that to be the truth, that is their truth. So when you're on a bus without a mask on and some person's sitting there and they get angry, it's not because that person's a cocksucker in their heart. It's because that person believes this narrative that they were told through, you know, I forget what the statistic is, but it's like if you hear something and then you see something on different occasions and you were through both different senses, you see it, you hear it, you see it, you hear it.
Yeah.
And then it takes root in you, right? That's why advertisers want you to hear stuff and then see stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so this truth takes root in people and then that becomes their reality.
Yeah.
And then when they see you without a mask on, you're the enemy, dude. You're killing their grandmother. And bro, I try and have that conversation with myself. Even to this day, I'm like, I'll look at myself in the mirror and be like, are you on the right side? Right. Are you on the right side of all of this?
Yeah.
Because you're all in on one side.
Yeah.
And you've risked everything. And like, are you sure? And I'll try and play like devil's advocate, you know?
You have to, man.
Well, and I keep coming up with the same fucking conclusion. But I also don't want to just be so convinced that I'm right no matter what, that I'm not willing to hear the other side of things.
Let's have the conversation. Yeah, you're open, man. Yeah.
But like, so this quote came up, or you were talking about science, and I shared this the other day, and I don't know who Alec Zeck is, but this is who shared it, and I shared it. It came across my screen, and it says, "Science used to be a systematic approach of continual questioning, experimentation, and discovery. It is now an infallible corporate-backed dogma that only selectively ordained experts are allowed to know or speak of.
Yeah.
It is no longer science, but a dangerous cult, you know?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, dude.
Yeah. Well, we see that. So it's like, we saw it in the military where, we're the boots on the ground. We're doing stuff at ground level where the rubber meets the road, but then you'll still have people that make policy that are not on the front line. They're not down there, boots on the ground, right? And they're the ones that are dictating everything. And that doesn't help offer like how can this be the best well-oiled machine possible, right? And in that system, it's kind of fucked. And the best leaders are those that kind of know to trust who is on the ground, trust their judgment, trust that, right? So the reason I bring that up is because I heard how like the CDC, the NIH, right? Like all these organizations that are making policy, they're not listening to the docs, to the people on the front lines that are treating COVID. They're just keep generating headlines and policy and all this stuff. And it's so far removed from those that are down here on the ground treating patients. And everything that comes out of their mouth is just supposed to be taken like, oh, well, what they say goes, well, where the fuck do they get their information? Because they're not treating patients. They're not doing that. So for them to spout any kind of info, right? Like, oh, this should be gospel. Like, where is the authority that they're getting to do that? And dude, it's bro, so backwards.
And how many more fuck ups do they have to have before people say, you no longer have credibility?
Yeah.
So once your credibility's shot, you don't get to make mandates and dictate what we do.
Right.
I mean, do you remember, maybe you've heard this before, when the pandemic first started, that like a bat fell in a cup of soup somewhere right outside of the Wuhan lab where they're studying coronavirus. But what happened is a bat jumped onto a pangolin and then it fell into a cup of soup, and then that somebody took a bite, and now we have a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah.
And if you said anything, if you said, you know what, that doesn't make sense to me, Greg, you're fucking crazy, right?
Are you a Trumper?
Yeah, you must be.
Like, I can do anything.
Well, my shirt does say Patriot on it, so be careful.
Be careful, yeah.
Shout out Ian Wendt. This is his company. It's fucking rad.
Yeah, dude.
But anyways, like if the bat falling into a cup of soup, again, dude, I'm not a scientist, but I feel like I have a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
And when you hear something that just says, something doesn't make sense about that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It is widely considered to be a false narrative now inside of the fucking medical and scientific community. They're like, oh, well, yeah, it probably was from the lab. Right. Oh, okay.
Right.
So a bat didn't fall into a cup of soup. So why was everybody dummies for the last 6 months when we questioned that?
Yeah.
But now the right person said, oh, you know what? That doesn't make sense to me either. We actually think it was this.
Yeah.
Oh, now everybody is validated to say, we think your soup story was full of shit, you know? And it's like, bro, follow the money. Yeah. Fauci's connected to all of this. Bill Gates has and dude, my friends pull me into this stuff, and it's like, this sounds crazy, right? And then you look it up, it's like, oh wait, Bill Gates got a fucking patent on vaccine passports in 2015. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
You know, and you follow the money and you follow all this shit, and we're going to fucking get to the bottom of it. And all the motherfuckers that played the entire world
get strung up, dude.
String them up, dude.
So I've never had, I don't know about you, man, but like I've never had a Microsoft product that didn't get a shit ton of viruses, dude. so like one, I don't know why we're listening to a guy that got fame on building computers of what our global population should be, what kind of vaccines people should have or shouldn't have. Like, just because you have a bunch of money doesn't fucking qualify you to do anything other than how you made that fucking income.
If you or I say anything, no, they're just dumb cops and firefighters. They're not. You're not a doctor,
which is true.
You're not. You're not a doctor,
right? Yeah,
you know how many times I fucking heard that?
Yeah.
And it's like, guess who else isn't a doctor?
Yeah.
Jay Inslee.
Yeah.
Guess who else isn't a doctor? Bill Gates.
I don't need to be an Olympic swimmer to get tossed into the ocean and fucking survive.
That's right, dude.
I don't need to know. I don't need to be an ocean. I don't need to be a fucking marine biologist to go for a fucking swim. I could tell that shark wants to fucking eat me. I don't need to know like where his teeth came from, or fucking what side of the aisle he's on, or if, did he swim around the flat earth in a disc, or did he go around this way? Like, dude, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, we don't have to be experts in that,
Bro, you don't have to be an expert in anything to hold an opinion.
And It's your own opinion. That's the thing, right? Yeah. So one thing was brought up to me, man. I have a lot of pretty good conversations, but one thing that isn't talked a lot about, I know we like to, myself included, we're like, oh, people are just so dumb. People are just so dumb. But dude, here's the deal, man. Like, people don't rise up because they're fucking busy. They're surviving. Do you know how many folks out there that are living in poverty? I mean, look at us. Look at what the fuck we're bitching about, right? Like, what do they say? That first world problems or whatever. I mean, like, really? Like, we're focused on stuff because we do see it affects freedom. It affects our decisions. All the great things we love about this country, like, we understand. But guess what? There's a lot of folks out there, they don't know where the fucking next meal's going to come. They don't know how they're going to turn their fucking heat on in the winter.
Yeah, but guess what? Those people that are living in third world fucking poverty, that don't know where their next meal is going to come from.
Yeah.
They are probably enjoying life better than most Americans.
Absolutely.
And they're not pumped full of antidepressants and medication and bullshit.
Nope.
they're actually having a viable human experience, which is rooted in peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
And good times and bad times and struggle. And that's why, dude,
perspective.
Like, yeah, we might not have, I mean, if you would have told me 2 years ago that I didn't have anything to bitch about, I would agree with you. Right. I would say, yeah, we have it pretty fucking good. Right. Yeah. There's problems in politics or with my department or whatever. Like it's, I mean, people bitch. That's what they do. Right.
Yeah.
But this isn't about bitching anymore. I feel like if the trajectory doesn't get changed soon, we're going to lose our ability to live life as we know it.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing Andy Frisella said when I was on his show that stuck with me, he's like, hey, you know what? Like, if you fucking listen to what I'm saying and you fucking support me and you like me and you think I have fucking valuable perspective, just know the end game of what is happening is you losing.
Yeah.
And he goes, but guess what else? If you hate me and you think I'm a moron and you think everything I stand for is shit, you're going to lose too.
Yeah.
Everybody loses from this.
Yeah. We all lose if we let this fucking continue and we let these corrupt motherfuckers just drive our economy and drive our fucking society into the ground. We all lose. And and like, what do we like about fucking the American dream is being able to have enough financial stability to have your house and have your kids educated and partake in a couple hobbies and whatever that is. If you're into jujitsu, if you're into archery, right? And have enough money to where we're not fucking struggling, enough money to where you can have some free time, go on vacation, spend time with your family. Like everything that people value in this society that's based and as a result of being a free society will be fucking taken from us. Yeah.
And then what? Right. You know? Yeah. And guess what everybody will be saying then? Fuck, man, we should have done something earlier. Oh, we should have fucking, man, I can't believe we let it get to here. And I'm going to look at them and be like, are you fucking serious right now?
Yeah.
I feel like I was the only fucking person in my profession that said anything for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
Even though everybody feels the same way. And bro, that's what, like, you keep referencing silent majority. And anybody that doubts that is not in touch with a lot of people. I feel like I interact with a wide variety of people. And dude, everybody is fed up.
Everyone's fed up.
Everyone's fed up, dude.
So I encourage everyone right now. So like, if you look, do what you want, but if you're sick of the mask deal, right? Like, so all these stores that have put their signs back up because that's what they're being told to do. And if you walked in with if you violated that from the first set of lockdowns and all that shit, excuse me, sir. The 17, 18-year-old kids coming up and challenging you and all that, right? You're like, okay, hey, what's the deal? And I'm not saying to, like, look, private business, I've heard you talk, we might even talk about this, like if they're offering a product and this is how they have to stay open and all that stuff, right? Like, okay, I get that. But my point here is
it's time to be done with it.
Before everyone was speaking up, but now even dude, every place I walk into, all the signs and all the employers are wearing it because they're at the work and they're trying to earn an income. Nobody says shit to anybody because they all know it's fucking bullshit.
I haven't had one person. Well, I haven't had anyone. All right, let me take a step back. I have had employees when I walk into a store and bro, I'm telling you, the hardware store I like to go to, they picked the oldest, nicest lady. Yeah. It's like this 80-year-old lady sitting at the front.
I'm sure that was on accident.
And she's like, sir, you got to put a mask on to come in here. And it's like, oh.
Fuck you, lady.
Fuck you, lady, right? But when an employee of a store asks you to do something, you can either fucking vote with your dollar and take it elsewhere.
Right.
Or you can have a confrontation with that person, but the confrontation with that person is not really, I don't know, man. I go back and forth on it because there are people that every single time, everywhere they go is a fight, right?
Right.
But me getting into an argument with that 80-year-old lady, it's not serving anything.
What's that going to gain?
It's not serving anything, right?
Well,
and so it's like there was a while where it's like, okay, if a certain store requires me to have one on to go in and I need something from there, I'll play their game because it's a private establishment. And I played that game for a little while, but the rules have shifted and they've changed now. Now I will not put one on no matter what. Other than, and again, because you're playing the long game, right?
Yeah.
To fly. Because if you don't, when you fly, you get put on that airline's no-fly list.
Right.
Like my buddy Mitch Aguiar, who's a fucking savage, got in an argument with a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And now he's on the no-fly list for American Airlines.
Fuck
and
American
it's like,
Airlines.
fuck American Airlines. American Airlines is what you and I were flying when the engine on our aircraft blew up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was.
We're flying back from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
To Seattle. We're just going to go on a tangent for a second. And
that never happens on the show.
And we hear an explosion. It sounded like an IED go off next to the plane. And we're like,
and then it was quiet.
Yeah, quiet, dude. Just
it's like there used to be a sound coming from that part of the wing, and now there's no sound after the big boom.
And the fucking pilot gets on the intercom and goes, "We just blew an engine and we're making an emergency landing."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Just so everybody knows, I did this in flight school once." And
who says that? Yeah. Good job, dude.
Hey, thanks. You did this one time in training, so now you're an expert.
Yeah, good job.
We're all gonna die, right?
Yeah.
We land in some remote airfield, and we were in Idaho.
Yep.
And it wasn't even like an airport. I mean, it was a runway, an airstrip.
Right.
But remember, there
not a commercial airport. Right?
Yeah, it was like a little private. Hey. And that lets you know how serious it was. Like, we got to get this plane on the ground right fucking now. And dude, what were we there? Like, I think we were there like 7 hours.
We were there a while
before they got another plane to cross load and then get us to Seattle.
Yeah.
And American Airlines didn't offer a voucher.
No.
You didn't get an email saying, hey, sorry
about that
you almost died.
Whoops. Right. Yeah, I remember signing the waiver before I boarded the aircraft.
So fuck American Airlines.
Well, hey, I got a funny.
Hold on though. Yeah. My whole point of going on that tangent is that the mask game.
Yeah,
there was a time when I thought that it could be you could kind of navigate your way through these waters playing the long game, right?
Yeah.
Now it's to a point where I feel like agreeing with stuff is you are complicit with this fucking psychosis that's sweeping across our country.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. If a private business tells me I have to put a mask on to shop there, I will never go back there.
Yeah.
Ever. That's it. You lost a customer for life. And I'm not going to say that to them.
Right.
I don't care. I'm going to turn around and I'm never going to go back in there.
Yeah.
But no private citizen has challenged me since this started. That's what I'm waiting for. Because you hear that story.
Yeah, well,
bro, I've heard a million stories. You're in the grocery store and some fat fuck's like, well, wear your mask.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Yeah.
Do you really want to become? That's what I'm going to say, too. I've been waiting for it. I've been thinking about it. It's like, bro, I'm going to fucking ask you this one time. Do I seem like the motherfucker that you want to be confrontational with? Because if you say yes, we're going to get real fucking confrontational. And it's going to happen quickly. Yeah. Like,
do you plan that out in front of a mirror just to make sure you look scary while you're doing it too?
Bro, I have a mullet. I don't look scary anymore.
No, dude, you got to blend in, man. I grew my hair out a long time and everyone's like, "Oh, look at your long hair." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's how I blend into the riots." So I shank motherfuckers in the crowd.
No, but that's everyone has to be voting with not only their dollar, but the way that they carry themselves. If you don't think that the mask makes sense anymore, then do not put your child in a mask.
Yeah.
Do not put a mask on your face.
Yep.
And dude, this is what I fucking hate about our society is that the day that Jay Inslee said, "Oh, the mask mandate is lifted." You go to the store, one person has a mask on out of 100. One, right?
That's the guy.
But no. I like that guy better. You know why?
Why's that?
Because he's decided, hey, just because the governor said that this is no longer a thing, to me, I'm still a little concerned. I'm going to keep wearing a mask.
Right, yeah.
Right?
That's a good way to put it.
But then all of those motherfuckers that took it off the day Jay Inslee said that they can take it off.
Yeah.
Then the day he said put it back on, they all put it back on. That right there tells me you're not doing this for your safety.
Blind obedience.
You're just playing this game.
Blind obedience, dude. Yeah.
So what the fuck are you doing? And bro, I'll tell you what. And me and Jenny came to the same conclusion. The women are the ones standing up more than the men.
Yeah.
I see men that are built like good athletes, fucking all tattooed up, big beards, mask on. Yeah. And it's like, I know what team you're on. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
You know? And like, and I mean, that was the initial, I mean, there's a million reasons why you don't want your kid in public school right now. But the mask was just the fucking icing on the cake. Can you
wait, you don't want him in, you don't want him in there
7 hours a day, 6-7 hours in the bus ride there and shit.
You were telling me you didn't want your kids in public school because they still had segregated male and female bathrooms. That's why you took yours out. You were offended that there wasn't some kind of well, let me sprinkle an ounce of hope here in my pursuit of trying to I'm not fighting a mandate, right? Like what we're doing is we're just standing up for our own personal rights. And so when it comes to being a first responder, I call all around the state, and this like I said, 95% of folks agree this is right and there's wrong. And let me tell you something interesting about the people that aren't on board. Okay, there are chiefs. There are union leaders out there. They're writing letters. They're writing congressmen. They're doing everything they can to get a hold of the governor and being like, we're not doing this. There's Baker City, their mayor is like, how can we sue the governor? Let's get everyone right now across the state. Let's start meeting up, right? Mandate-free Oregon's doing that. The officer that you just spoke with before you came out here.
Ethan Cowing.
Yeah, he's in part of a lawsuit with some other state troopers and some other fire guys. So it's like it's gaining momentum. But the only folks, right, and everyone's on the same page. We're all getting together. The only people that I've felt the ounce of resistance on, it has been people either directly in our state firefighters council. So there's like a chain of command, I guess. So there's a conglomerate or it's just like a representative body for all Oregon State firefighters. And there's a council, right? You got district VPs and you've got a president and vice president. And so the only pushback that I get and Dave, thanks, but no thanks. We're doing our own thing. Like, okay, I get it. You're busy. Why do you want to talk to me? Who the fuck am I? All I'm trying to do is get people connected in their defense. Some of those guys are already connected. They don't need me through my channels. Fine. But one of them gave me the conversation of like, hey, Dave, look, man, get what you're doing. You're trying to save jobs. That's cool. But we got to be careful. Okay. Because Kate Brown, like she's for unions. Okay. And we got to be careful who we get into office because before we know it, guess what? All paid fire professions could just go away. And they can get rid of our unions, and then we're all going to be volunteers. It's going to all be volunteers. So I'm having this conversation with union presidents that are there. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing what they can to not get their guys fired. But what that's telling me is that their concern over bug assault. Yes.
All right, keep going.
Yep. They're concerned about politics over right and wrong. Okay, they're going to lose people. And they're worried about the long game. And I get it. It's a game in politics and you got to fund this. But guess what? That fucking time is over.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole reason unions even formed was so the little guy had a fucking fighting chance against the bigger guy. Right? That's the only reason. Well, it's like, we're stronger if we're all together. Let's fucking band together. But the international is saying, just get the shot, just do the thing, just do whatever the administration says, because, dude, it's more and more political. So, but the good news, though, is, guess what? You all that are like that just identified yourself, okay? Those that are writing letters and those that are saying, hey, you know what? If you fire one of my fucking members, my family that I work with every day, then I'm out of here, and we're all out of here. And guess what? All those people that are willing to stand up, they're doing that. And those of you that aren't doing that, and you may be doing what you feel like in your ways, but guess what? It's fucking half-ass. It is half-ass. You're either all in or you're not. And guess what? If you're in a department, most departments are split. You know, like some guys are vaxxed and some guys are not vaxxed. And so they're trying to represent and trying to do all this, and they don't know if they can get everyone on the same page. Well, my answer to you of getting everyone on the same page, you don't need to. All you need to do is say, who wants to know who's vaxxed and unvaxxed? Fuck you. You're not getting that information. And if you don't like it, then you can fucking fire me. I chose to be in a leadership position because I'm serving these people, and I can't look myself in the mirror if one of them is going to get fired because I didn't fucking stand up for them. And I'm not going to put it on them to have to decide that they got to turn in their vax card or not turn in their vax card. So this is what I'm going to do,
We're gonna
everybody.
Stop it right here.
We're going to stop it right here. So buck stops at me, and if I lose my job, so be it. I'll be able to go out. Guess what? Fire chief, so you lose your job over that, you could probably find another job somewhere. Or if you're a chief, you got enough time in the retirement system that you can probably walk. You've been established, right? Like, grow some fucking balls and do what these other chiefs are doing and do what these other union presidents are doing, okay? And quit pandering and worrying about that the unions are going to go away. You know, I came from a right to work state in Florida. We had fucking unions. Okay. We fucking banded together. It wasn't all like volunteer. It's not going to happen. So quit giving me that bullshit excuse and do what the fuck is right and represent your people. And this isn't just firefighters. This is all first responders. This is CEOs to a company. Like, you are responsible. The reason why the silent majority isn't going to be silent anymore is because we all stood back when the riots are happening because we're busy fighting going to work. We're busy paying their bills because that's putting food in our mouths. And we're like, well, I'm just going to lay back until they mess with how I'm going to support my family. And they haven't done that yet. Well, guess what you're doing now? You're firing people over a fucking conviction, over a religious conviction, over a moral belief. And what the fuck are you doing? You're taking food out of their mouth. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to fight. You don't think they're going to, but they will. And we will, because you are threatening our livelihood. And now that could be the powder keg. So either A, get on fucking board, or step aside and let us do what's right for each other. All we want to do is serve the community. All we want to do is make our own medical decisions. This is not rocket science. I don't fucking think there's a nanobot or Bill Gates' fucking sperm in the goddamn thing, right? Like, I don't even give a shit about Trump. I don't fucking quit trying to lump me in any of this stuff. I'm fairly liberal on most things, but like, this is just about simple American freedoms, doing what the fuck you want to do. And if you're in a leadership position, represent your people or step the fuck aside.
Well, and most of them won't.
And they won't. And so then it's up to the individuals. So like
most of them won't, bro.
With me, we had to band together of those that felt like things weren't being done soon enough or well enough. And we had to band together. And it was only until the strength in numbers showed how much of us were upset that action started being taken. Okay. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus as far as like what you're doing and you're not trying, and nobody wants anyone to get fired. And I don't want us to get divided on this because nobody wants to see anyone lost, right? Or fired. But the thing is like, and we will still go like if one of these union presidents that are pushing or pushing against it, if they told me like, hey Dave, man, my kid's sick and I need some time to get off work, or shit, man, natural disaster and my fucking house flooded, guess what? Guess who's going to be on their doorstep helping them out? Me. Yeah. And all of us will. We're all going to band together. That's the community we're in. So I'm just saying, if you're in that position, we're a family. And if you feel like for your own decision, your own risk benefit reward, if you can't make the decision to stand up for all of us, then no problem. This is really hard. Nobody saw this shit coming. Step aside and let somebody else do it.
Yeah, but stepping aside would require humility. And it would require some self-reflection.
Or just be like, hey, I was wrong. I'm gonna instead of doubling down on my position on like, no, they're gonna call me out on it. Fuck, it doesn't spread transmission. So, well, let's give it to the children. Like, right? Just like, yeah, you're right, man. It does. It takes a set of nuts to say, hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Can we work together to make this right? And all of us are going to be like, hell yeah,
have we ever heard a politician apologize?
No.
At any level?
No. So
that's just the new way they do business, man.
So if you're a union leader, or you're a fire chief, or you're a head of a hospital, if you don't want to be lumped into the politician fucking loop, why don't you apologize? Why don't you have some of fucking Jocko's dose of like extreme ownership, right? Like just own it. You don't want to be lumped in there, then cool. There's still time, right? Like we're all human. We're all in the same family. We're all first responders. We're all giving up parts of our life to serve the community. This is not us versus them. I'm just imploring you to do the right thing. We all have a moral compass, or we wouldn't be in this line of work. Like, just do the right fucking thing. And if you have a problem with it, give us a call, lean on a buddy, like, be like, hey man, I was lost, but I need you to save me on this, right? Like, I mean, that's it.
It's asking a lot, dude.
Dude, I know.
I just talked about this with Ethan a couple hours ago on my last podcast.
Yeah.
Like, once you start to get into like the command level of things,
yeah,
the only way you get there is by being a good little boy. Right. And that's, and obviously there's exceptions to every rule.
No, that's true, man. Those that ruffle feathers.
As you work your way up, they start to groom people, and you see it in law enforcement. You see it in the military. You see it in your line of work.
Yeah.
Like, they want the right people in place that aren't going to push back and that are going to follow orders.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. Like, did you see the last boot on the ground in Afghanistan? Did you see that picture?
No, man.
They're like, this is it's a guy.
Oh, is it under nods?
Yeah.
Is it green? Yeah. I saw that. It's in a text thread.
Oh, okay. So you saw that that was our old company commander, General Donahue. Now he was Captain Donahue when we were young Rangers.
Oh, I remember him.
Right?
Yeah.
And
wait, that was him in the photo?
That was him.
Fuck.
Yeah, it said the last boot on the ground in Afghanistan is Chris Donahue. And I'm not saying anything bad about him because he was an amazing company commander, right?
Yep.
But that picture started going around like different websites and stuff. And you know what everybody's saying? They're like, oh, this was propaganda and this was a staged photo shoot, whatever, right? It was a guy getting on an aircraft. But the whole reason that I brought that up is like military officers don't get to the top unless they start playing the game, you know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what profession you're in, what agency it is. You don't get to the top unless you play the game.
The game's got to change then, dude.
The game's got to change. Dude.
Well, you were saying that about how we can't, at dinner, we're like, well, man, like, look, writing your congressman, and like, yeah, you could try to hold some accountability, but like the voting your way out of this situation, like you put it really well. Say that again. It's like we're kind of past that point. If you look back, be like, well, we already got here because it's fucked up there. This ain't. We're beyond the voting yourself out. It's got the whole thing needs to have a rewrite.
Yeah, what I was saying is the system that brought us to where we're at right now is broken, right?
Yeah.
And this system is rooted on, well, we're going to vote this person in, and we have these two parties to choose from.
Yeah.
And if we don't like this person, we can vote them out, or we can get enough votes to have a recall. Like whatever system that is in place that brought us to this point is broken because we're here right now. So if that broken system brought us here, the system has to have an overhaul. It can't just be like, well, let's just keep voting them out and vote a new person in, and then we'll vote somebody else in. It's like, and then we'll have a little protest at the Capitol, and we'll have 5,000 people show how upset we are. And it's like, they don't give a fuck about that stuff. They don't give a fuck about the things that are most important to us. The system that is broken brought us to right here, and now it needs an overhaul. And what does that look like? I think most people have an idea what that looks like. We're fucking sick of it. I'll tell you this too, and I meant to bring this up earlier. I have a representative that's helping me with my VA claim, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about this over dinner or not.
You I think on the phone on the way up here, you started telling me about it.
They're talking about, and I don't know where this is at, like if it's actually like people are considering implementing this or not. But they said that they're considering withholding your VA benefits, and she said even Social Security benefits if you don't get vaccinated. Now try and wrap your fucking head around that.
Yeah.
You want to see people lose their shit?
Yeah.
Like firing me is one thing.
Right.
This is what I do to earn money. Now I have to do something else to earn money.
Right.
But my fucking Social Security and my fucking VA benefits, that's shit that I've earned for past services rendered.
Yeah.
The government has already decided, all right, you were blown up enough times and we've given you a TBI rating of 40%.
Yeah.
And this is what you get each month, right?
Dude.
And now you're going to take that away from me for my behavior after my service and after getting that rating appointed to me?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you joined the military, so your life is, you sign it away, so you just got to go by their rules no matter what, dude.
Yeah.
All that shit.
And I did do that. And I did sign my rights away.
Yeah.
And I did get fucking vaccines in me that if I had to do over again, I would have told them to fuck off, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, all of that is the past.
Yeah.
And now my fucking medical...
They're trying to retroactively...
Yeah, they're trying to retroactively take away what I've already earned. And like, I think that's where people will start to lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
14 fucking combat deployments.
Yeah.
And go fuck yourself now. Now you're not even going to get your VA benefits anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Fuck with the vets. Who am I? I'm a fucking veteran. Dude, so I do want to, that kind of reminds me of a thing too, of like, a lot of people don't know. So they lump that reason in with first responders. They're like, well, you're a government employee. You are required to get the Hep B vaccine, right? Before, as a condition of employment. And now we're saying that you need to do this for the greater good, and that's your chosen profession. And if you don't want to play ball, then you get out. So okay. So it sounds totally feasible and plausible. Like, yeah, just like in the military and all that shit, right? But well, for one, they're doing the retroactive thing again, right? So the condition of my employment initially was with these all parameters.
And I sat down and we came to this agreement.
Absolutely. Boom. So then after that, you can't just lump some stuff in there and then now threaten within 14 or 30 days to not employ me any longer if I don't just ad hoc take all of their fucking things that I feel like could either cause me harm. And then I tell them like, hey, people don't charge machine gun nests in the military because they got an order to do it. They do it out of the love for their fucking brothers and sisters. They do it because everyone's going to fucking die and they're fucking heroes. And that's why they get these awards and all that shit, because that's not required of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone thinks like, oh, you just need to go jump off this fucking cliff without a parachute because you're in the military and someone gave you that order. But like, that's not how that fucking shit works.
I tell people that all the time that don't understand.
Dude, they're removed from that. They don't understand it. Maybe you could break. I don't even know what the reg is called.
But you don't have to follow unethical orders in the military either.
Exactly.
A private can tell a general to fuck off.
Yeah.
If that general is asking you to do something that you are perceiving as immoral, illegal, or unethical.
Dude, so, yeah. Since COVID came through my house, right? And some folks got sick. I didn't have any symptoms, but we just, rolled with it. Wow, that was it. Okay, great. Being healthy really paid off. So I'm in this, more than likely in this, or we're all in this naturally immune category that's not being talked about. And so to take someone that's now, as I perceive, naturally immune, and you're going to force an unknown, an experimental deal, whether it's FDA approved or not, the right, no one else will take.
It's not out of clinical trials yet.
Right.
So tell me, and again, I'm not a doctor, but explain to me, and I want someone to come on the show that is pro-vaccine and wants to have every single last person vaccinated, because I want to have a 2-hour hard conversation where if you are a fucking virologist and you're 3,000,000% smarter than me and you can explain all this stuff, I want to hear it. Yeah. Right. But it's a new technology. It's something that we have not ever injected into our fucking bodies before. Yeah.
And why would I risk the unknown? Who assumes the risk when someone tells me I'm forced? So like, does the municipality take on health costs?
Nobody is assuming the risk except you. And we'll even take it a step further. Yeah. The companies that are pumping the shit into everyone are exempt.
Right.
You can't go after them.
No, I know it.
You know?
Yep. So this is the funny thing, like docs don't want to sign they don't want to sign, so doctors don't want to sign medical exemptions. right? For one reason or another, because they're afraid of losing their license, but they're happy to tell you, you need to take this. And I can say, okay, well, it says here that, yeah, these are some of the side effects that they know of, but right here, it's like, this does not, it isn't like this. It's something to the effect of like, there could be other stuff that we don't know about, and it could be anything. Including being very serious. So I'm like, well, this sounds pretty serious to me. So the thing you're trying to protect me from, one, I'm not afraid of, but you're telling me I need this. So here, I have an idea. Here's a piece of paper that you just take on, assume all liability. So if anything comes down, I can come after you because you're trying to tell me that this is what I need. And don't worry, because all it will hurt you is financially. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you have malpractice insurance for that. And I'm sure you could file a claim and be okay. But what's the biggest risk to me if I'm that fucking, it's like the reason why I don't do LASIK surgery, because they're like, well, Dave, it's 99.9% effective. I'm like, yeah, but guess what, dude? If I'm that 0.1%, I'm 100% fucking blind in that eye.
Yeah.
Right? And that's my decision. Even though it's a low risk, it's still, because I'm the one that ultimately has to pay for that risk.
So you could wear glasses.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You fucking weighed your options.
I weighed my options, right? So we have those rights and no one else is willing to take on liability. So that's why it's just unheard of. Like, if I'm going to view this, the whole reason we got on this was the unethical or immoral decision-making, or something that could, where we feel like is wrong, we don't have to fucking follow that order. Okay. This is not, oh, you're a public servant, you're a goddamn robot. That's not how it works. Well, even when you're in the fucking military. So anyways, I just want to fucking make that clear, because I've heard that argument a lot, even from certain administrations of like, well, this is your job, you need to fucking support the community. It's like, no. We already had a lot of people buy off on that. They got vaxxed, they're healthy, they didn't need it, but they did it to help protect the community. And now the science is saying, hey, this doesn't help prevent transmission, only keeps you out of the hospital and dying if you're in that protected class. So now these folks, they're not going to want to get a fucking booster. Well, what's the reason?
Well, bro, and I know I've said this a bunch on my show, like the CDC spokeswoman came out and said vaccine effectiveness is waning. Vaccinated people are starting to get sick at a rate that was unanticipated. The Delta variant, it is not showing to be very effective against the Delta variant. And because of this, boosters. You know what I mean?
That's the answer. That's the easy answer.
That's just going to be just, oh, well, we wanted you to take this thing that we didn't really know about. So you took the thing and now it's not working very good. So you got to take another thing. Does that make any fucking sense?
No, man. You know what else is a really good idea that we all bought off them for a while is making the pipes that carry our drinking water with lead. That was a good idea.
Yeah, that's right.
And we did that. For how long did we do that?
Yeah.
Right? How long was asbestos a good material to put in all these homes? How many years did it take? Dude, Dark Horse Podcast, man. Like, this guy, Weinstein, he came out with a thing. He's like, I'm not saying who or what, but like, if we can all get behind an idea like Afghanistan when it kicked off, right? And without a real hard end game of this is how we can succeed to get out of it and consider this a win and stabilized, right? Like, we went into it all and then without even the game plan, right? And 20 years goes by and we saw the result all now unfolding in front of our eyes, right? Like, he's like, so shouldn't we just based on that anytime the government or the consensus on anything is all in for one thing, can we not look at the current event and remember what we were all in on 20 years ago and just think about that for a second before we just keep diving in and hating our neighbors because they didn't get the vax or hating our buddies or our coworkers because they did? Like, just pump the brakes for a second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Anyways.
So I'm going to say, and we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes. We'll wrap this up in a second. But I listened to a book on the drive down here, and it was from Sebastian Junger. Have you read?
Yeah, he's the Tribe dude.
Tribe,
right? Yeah. He's got another one on.
Yeah, it's called Freedom.
Freedom. Okay.
And I listened to it today, and he was talking about the American frontier.
Is that why you're so fired up when you're on the phone when I talk to you?
I'm always fired up, bro. Yeah. He's talking about the American frontier, where people would push west, and they would push outside of these safety networks.
Yeah.
Where government could keep you safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you pushed outside of the boundaries where government could keep you safe, now you are free to not have to do what the government said.
Yeah.
So the farther you pushed out west and away from fucking government controlled lands, the more dangerous it was, but the freer you were.
Yeah.
And they said they found that people would go into these Indian controlled areas where if you get fucking caught, you're going to get skinned alive and scalped, and they chop your fingers off and feed them to you and shit. Like fucked up shit, right?
And they're saying worth it.
Worth it. Because I'm free from oppressive government bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then right after I listened to that book, I listened to Biden's speech, and he's like, my primary focus as president of the United States is your safety. I need to keep the American people safe. Freedom was never about safety. You want to be safe, go lock yourself in a fucking padded room, right?
Yeah.
But are you free? Freedom and safety are on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's up to us as free individuals to mitigate and balance and walk that line and take our own lives in our own hands and see, do we want to be more of do I want to err towards more of safety? And do I want to give up on some of my freedoms so I feel like a safe person, if that's how you want to live your life?
Yeah.
Or do I want to risk what I want to risk because this is how I want to pursue my life and I want to exercise my freedoms? Like, there's so many activities that are more dangerous. Like statistically, would we start banning those things? Would we start banning base jumping?
Dude, driving to work, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you want to start infringing on activities that might not be safe.
Yeah. Get rid of baths and swimming pools, buckets, anything that can hold water to keep everyone safe.
I've never asked for the government to keep me safe. It's not the government's job. It's not the government's duty. Now, yes, should you be putting systems in place to prevent massive drug use and massive criminal activity and shit? Yeah, I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on an individual level.
Yeah.
There are no crimes being committed. Okay. You don't need to infringe on my life to keep me safe. In fact, do the opposite. Piss off. Get the fuck out of my life.
Yeah.
And like I've been saying since day one, if I die of COVID, that's on me.
Die of COVID, dude.
That's on me.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't care.
Right.
Like, yeah, I want to live just like everybody wants to live.
Yeah.
But part of living is understanding that this experience is finite and something's going to get you.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how much I care about what's going to get me? I don't give a fuck what's going to get me.
Well, dude, the argument of like, oh, it's for your own good. And
I don't need you to tell me what's for my own good.
Oh, so since we're a country based on Judeo-Christian properties, then since Jesus Christ saves and gives you eternal life, then everybody, for your own good, you all need to be Christians, because no matter what you do here, you're going to have eternal life. It's for your own good. We're going to decide it for you. That sounds like a good idea, right? Yeah, like nobody should have that decision for themselves. Fuck you. Well, I'll leave you with this, man, on the safety thing. The only, you know who you are out there, what side of it you're on, but the only person that message of safety even is attractive is whoever is living in fear and believing all the bullshit that you're trying to keep them in fear, to when you just walk outside your door and you feel the sun on your face and you go and greet your neighbor and you go down to the market or whatever. Like, that's the world right now. It's around you, okay? Don't let this shit fucking divide us, because you have to take a step back and go right, left. That's all a fucking game, right? Like, people are going to get rich. People are going to go more into control if they can keep dividing us. So don't fucking hate your neighbor. Have a conversation. Try to educate them. Learn something from them. Don't be the one like, oh, I'm going to tell them how it is, because you may not know, and you may fucking be the one that learns something. I'm ready every day to have someone prove all of my shit wrong. I'm so ready, dude, because this narrative and this thing that I'm hearing and the path I'm going, I don't want to go down there. I want someone to fucking rescue me from it. So please rescue me.
I wish they were right.
Dude.
Life would be easier.
For sure, man. So don't get hung up on this shit. Realize we're all being fucking controlled, right? And just live your own life, man. Anyways. One last thing. What do you get when you get a cross politician and a potato?
Go ahead.
Dictator.